Things in Iran have not stabilized. It's escalated. And the frustrating part is this is exactly where this was always going to go. We've now crossed into something very different. The US stepping in and taking control of the Strait of Hormuz wasn't some small tactical move. That's not pressure, nor is it positioning. It's real escalation, real escalation. And the rest of the world is reacting to it exactly as you would expect when something like this happens. Not with unity, not with alignment, not with concern, with hesitation, and in some cases with outright frustration, and even among our closest allies, Macron and Starmer, not lining up behind this, not embracing it at all. And you know what? This was all very predictable, because if you step back and look at this honestly, none of this should be surprising. We've been talking about this for almost 2 months now. There are moments where events take on a direction of their own, where even if talks continue, even if meetings are happening, even if people are flying around trying to negotiate, the outcome is already being shaped by events, what's happening on the ground. And this fits and feels like one of those moments. The talks were always going to be necessary. They had to happen, but they were never going to stop this, because you don't have two sides that are actually invested in ending this right now. You have two sides talking past each other, more importantly, talking to different constituencies, audiences, domestic audiences, regional allies, global positioning. This isn't something negotiation in the traditional sense takes care of. It's messaging, it's positioning for what's to come. And what history shows us is just how predictable this pattern is. You get outcry from allies, not to actually protect their own interests, but to avoid shaking up the status quo and taking a real stand, to appease, to manage headlines, to stay out of it for as long as possible. Then you get talks, meetings, statements, all of it, necessary theater. Not because it's going to solve anything, but because everybody needs political cover. We've seen this before, moments where leaders walk off an airplane, hold up a piece of paper and tell the world, peace in our time. How did that picture age? From the beginning, I've been saying the same thing. And you can go back and watch my old videos from when the beginning of this war. If we were going to get involved in this, we needed to be smart about it, strategic and disciplined. I didn't think it was all bad, because it was finally time. We had done this. It might have been the first real opportunity since 1979 to confront this the right way. Instead, after the absolute clusterfuck we saw last week, things could not have gotten worse for the United States. And now, while all that is playing out, the rhetoric keeps rising. The threats keep coming. Warships are being replenished. Signals are being sent that this can restart or expand at any moment. The bluster never stopped by either side. And that's part that should concern people, because it tells you something very simple. There's no real control over this right now. And nobody's really interested in peace right now. And that goes back to the core problem. This was not planned properly. This was approached with overconfidence and a belief that there was only one possible outcome, that we could apply pressure, escalate, and the other side would fold. And when that didn't happen, there was no clear alternative. And that is completely unacceptable. There's no excuse for that. None. Not for a country like the United States. Not with the resources we have, not with the intelligence that we have, not the planning, the military capability, the strategic depth that exists in this country. We have the best planners in the world, the best military minds, the best strategic thinkers, and yet somehow we ended up here. It's unconscionable. And now we're dealing with the consequences of that. Because on the other side, Iran has been elevated. There's no other way to put it. They've come out of this looking stronger, not weaker. In the eyes of the world, and especially in the Middle East, that they stood up to the great Satan. And that changes the balance. It changes how other countries deal with them, how they negotiate, and how future conflicts will play out. At the same time, the damage to the U.S. is real. And it's not just about what happens next week. It's about how we are seen now. Credibility matters. Relationships matter. And those relationships took decades to build. And now, in a matter of days, have been badly damaged. And rebuilding our credibility and these relationships with so many different countries is not something that happens quickly, if at all. Even if everything goes right from here on, Even with strong leadership for years to come, some of this damage may never fully recover. So now you're left with a situation where even if things calm down, even if talks do something, which they're not going to, even if there's a pause, the damage doesn't just disappear. And meanwhile, you have the rest of the region watching this play out. Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and Qatar are really paying a big price. They don't want this to drag on. They don't want escalation, but they can't afford to let this spin out of control. They're the ones sitting right next to it. They don't want this to end where it is now because they don't want war on their doorstep and us walking away. They're under extreme pressure, economically, strategically, and politically. Look at Dubai. It was at max capacity of tourists in the peak weeks in February with rooms at 100% occupancy filled. And today it's an empty ghost town, costing them billions of dollars daily. At the same time, they're still relying on US guarantees that now look shaky. And that's a problem because once these guarantees are questioned, everything changes. And this is where you have to start seeing the broader impact. Oil is moving higher again. Markets are reacting. Volatility is building. This is exactly what happens when risks become real. And this is exactly what we've been warning about. Go back and look at my videos. I said exactly this. This was never going to stay contained. So now the question becomes, what happens next? And the honest answer is the next moves in the next couple of days matter more than anything we've done so far. Because once the response comes from Iran, and it will come, and it'll come quickly, that will determine just how far this goes. It could be contained or it could be expanded very quickly, becoming a broad, full-scale shooting war on multiple fronts. Is a full land war inevitable? Not yet, but we're moving closer to something much bigger. That's where we are. We are past the point of resetting this. That's gone. At this point, this is about managing what comes next, trying to limit how far it goes, trying to avoid the worst outcomes, and hoping that the next decisions made are better than the ones that got us here. Because if not, this escalates much further. And once that happens, containment is out the window. Nobody will be in control. This isn't the end of something. This is the beginning. So there we are today, folks, waiting for Iran to come back and make their move. Please subscribe to help us continue to grow. Like and comment below. If anything major develops between now and tomorrow, I'll have a video up tomorrow. If not, I'll see you on Wednesday. Thank you for watching.